The world has a way of making you small. It shrinks you down, bit by bit, with every dismissal, every casual cruelty, until you feel you can fit inside the smallest, darkest corner of a room, and no one will even notice you're gone. That's where I have been living, in a corner of my own making. The final push into that corner came from Marcus, a man who had promised me a universe and then condemned me for not being able to populate it. "It's a simple biological function, Alara," he had said, his voice not cruel, just disappointed, like I was a faulty appliance. One you can't perform. Barren. The word was a branding iron. It seared itself onto my soul, a permanent mark of my failure as a woman, as a partner, as a human being. It didn't matter that I had a degree, a mind, a heart that ached with a love it had nowhere to place. All that mattered was the empty, silent space inside me. So he left, and in his wake, he took not just my future, but my present. My savings, my apartment, my sense of self. He left me with debts and a hollowing shame that was a constant physical ache in my chest. And then, when I was at my lowest, a whisper of a thing held together by cheap coffee and thinner hope, he came back. Not with an apology, with a proposition, an offer. "He's a recluse," Marcus had explained, not looking me in the eye. He was fidgeting with the cuff of his expensive shirt, the one I'd bought him for his birthday last year. "Some rich eccentric who lives up in the North Woods. He needs a companion, a caretaker, for his estate. He pays well, more than well, enough to clear everything." He'd left out the most important parts. He always did. He left out the word sold. He left out the fact that this rich eccentric owned half the mountain range, and the silence surrounding his property was less about privacy and more about possession. He left out the stories the locals in the last town I'd passed through whispered over their beers. Stories of a man who was more beast than human, who commanded the forest itself, a dark laird in a forgotten kingdom of pine and shadow. Now, sitting in the back of a black, silent car that smells of leather and ozone, I feel the truth of those omissions closing in on me. The road has gone from paved to gravel to little more than a dirt track swallowed by ancient trees. Their branches knit together overhead, a dense, dark canopy that snuffs out the afternoon light, plunging us into a premature twilight. I am a package being delivered. Freight. My price tag was the erasure of a debt I never should have owed. Marcus got his clean slate. And I get this. The car slows, turning through a massive wrought iron gate that swings open without a sound, as if by magic or unseen hands. We crawl up a long, winding drive, and then the house appears. It's not a house. It's a fortress. Built of dark, formidable stone and heavy timber, it rises from the mountainside as if it grew there. It has the grim, unyielding presence of a place that has endured centuries of harsh winters and profound loneliness. Windows like dark, vacant eyes stare out over the valley. No lights are on, no sign of life. This is a place where things come to die. Hope, chief among them. The driver, a man with a face as stony as the house, finally speaks. His voice is rough, like grinding rocks. "We're here." He doesn't get out. He just pops the trunk. My one suitcase, holding the meager remains of my life, sits on the gravel beside me as the car pulls away, its red taillights swallowed by the gloom in seconds. And then there is only silence. A profound, ringing silence that is heavier than any noise. It's the quiet of a predator holding its breath. I can feel it on my skin, a pressure, an awareness. I am being watched. The air is cold, sharp with the scent of pine needles and damp earth and something else. Something wilder, musky and potent. It's the smell of an animal, a very large animal. My hand trembles as I reach for the handle of my suitcase. My knuckles are white. Every instinct, every primal, self-preserving cell in my body screams at me to run, to flee back down that dark road and take my chances with the wilderness. But where would I go? Back to Marcus? Back to the life that had already crushed me? No, I have traded one cage for another. At least this one is honest about its bars. Taking a breath that feels thin and useless in my lungs, I walk toward the massive oak door. It's carved with intricate knots and wolves, their wooden eyes seeming to follow my approach. There is no bell, no knocker. I hesitate for a moment, my fist raised, and then the door swings inward on silent hinges. The darkness within is absolute. I step over the threshold. The door clicks shut behind me, the sound final and damning. It echoes in the cavernous space, a single note of doom. My heart hammers against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage of bone. The air inside is even colder, thick with the smell of wood smoke, beeswax, and that same feral, unsettling scent from outside. It's stronger in here, dominant. As my eyes adjust, shapes begin to emerge from the gloom. A great hall, with a ceiling so high it's lost in shadow. A colossal stone fireplace, cold and dark. Mounted heads of stags and bears watch me from the walls, their glass eyes gleaming faintly. This is a hunter's hall, a predator's den. You are late. The voice comes from everywhere, and nowhere at once. It's deep. A low, resonant rumble that vibrates through the floorboards and up my legs. It's not just a sound. It's a physical presence. It speaks of power held in check, of violence simmering just beneath the surface. I spin around, trying to find the source. A figure detaches itself from the deep shadows near the fireplace. He is impossibly tall, broad-shouldered, a silhouette of raw power. Even in the dim light, I can feel the intensity of his gaze, a physical weight pressing down on me. He moves with a silent, fluid grace that is utterly at odds with his size. It's the way a panther moves, economical, deadly. This is him, the alpha, the beast of the woods. He steps into a stray shaft of moonlight filtering through a high window, and I see his face for the first time. It's a composition of harsh lines and stark planes, as if carved from the mountain itself. High cheekbones, a strong jaw dusted with dark stubble, a mouth that looks incapable of smiling, but it's his eyes that seize my breath. They are a pale, luminous silver, gleaming in the dark like a wolf's. And they are fixed on me with an unnerving, predatory focus. He doesn't look at me like I'm a person. He looks at me like he's trying to decide where to bite first. The journey was long, I managed to whisper, my voice a pathetic squeak. He takes another step closer. The feral scent intensifies, coiling around me. It's his scent. Marcus King said you were resilient. He says the word resilient like it's a synonym for tame. I am, I say, finding a sliver of defiance. I have nothing left to lose after all. A flicker of something. Surprise? Interest? Crosses his face, gone as quickly as it came. Good. You will need to be. He turns, his back to me, and gestures vaguely toward a sweeping stone staircase. Marta will show you to your room, and to your duties. Another figure emerges from the shadows. An older woman, stout and severe, with her gray hair pulled into a tight bun. She wears a simple black dress and an expression of grim neutrality. Marta, the housekeeper. This way, she says, her voice clipped. I don't dare look back at the man with the silver eyes. I can still feel his gaze on my back, hot and heavy, as I follow Marta up the stairs. Each step feels like a descent deeper into a trap. We walk down a long, echoing corridor lined with closed doors. My suitcase feels impossibly heavy. The house is dead silent except for our footsteps. "Your room is here," Marta says, stopping before one of the doors and pushing it open. It's a simple room, clean but Spartan. A bed, a dresser, a small window looking out into the unending forest. "Your duties are through here." She points to an adjoining door I hadn't noticed. An interconnecting room. I assumed I'd be cleaning, maybe cooking, managing the estate, as Marcus had so vaguely put it. I push the door open, and my world stops. The room is a nursery. Softly lit by a small lamp, it's painted in pale, muted colors. A rocking chair sits in the corner. A changing table is neatly arranged with lotions and powders. And in the center of the room, in a large, sturdy crib carved from the same dark wood as the front door, is a baby. He's asleep, a tiny bundle wrapped in a soft gray blanket. A tuft of jet black hair crowns his small head. A baby. The breath leaves my body in a painful rush, as if I've been punched. A cold, sick wave of disbelief and horror washes over me. This is a joke. A cruel cosmic joke aimed directly at the rawest, most wounded part of my soul. They brought me here, the barren woman, the failed mother, to care for a child. It's a special kind of hell designed just for me. "What is this?" I ask, my voice trembling with a rage that is perilously close to tears. Marta's expression doesn't change. "This is Finn. This is your duty. You will care for him. You will feed him, change him, see to his every need. You will not fail." The last two words are a command, cold and sharp as ice. I stare at the sleeping infant, my heart a knot of conflicting agonies. The deep, familiar ache of my own emptiness wars with a sudden, fierce, and utterly unwelcome surge of something else. Something I haven't allowed myself to feel in a very long time, a protective instinct. And then, as if sensing the storm of my emotions, the baby stirs. He makes a small snuffing sound and his eyes flutter open. They are silver. The same luminous, impossible silver as the man downstairs. They stare up at me not with the unfocused gaze of a newborn, but with a startling, unnerving intelligence, a flicker of ancient knowing. This is not just a baby. And this is not just a job. This is a test. A trap. And I have already walked into it. The silence of the house presses in, and I stand frozen on the threshold, caught between the ghost of my past and a terrifying, supernatural present. The baby, Finn, watches me, his silver eyes seeming to peer directly into the broken, hollow space inside me. I can't do this. I can't. The thought is a desperate prayer. To be this close to the one thing I have always wanted and can never have. It will break me. What little is left of me. I turn to Marta, my mouth open to refuse, to demand they send me back. But the look on her face stops me cold. It's not unkindness. It's a profound, weary resignation, as if she's seen this play out before and already knows the ending. "He has no one else," she says, her voice softer now, almost a whisper. "His mother is gone. Gone." Another casual, devastating word. My protest dies in my throat. I look back at the crib, at the tiny being with his father's impossible eyes. He has no one. I have no one. We are two abandoned souls in a fortress of stone and secretus. My past taught me what it feels like to be abandoned, to be deemed unworthy of care, of love, to be left. I remember the cold indifference in Marcus's eyes. I remember the clinical pity of doctors. I remember the echoing silence of a life that was supposed to be full. I look at this child, this impossible child, and I see a reflection of my own loneliness. I will not be like them. I will not be the one who turns away. It is not a choice made of logic. My fear is a living thing, a cold snake coiling in my gut. Every rational thought tells me to run, but compassion? Compassion is a stronger, stupider, more stubborn force. What does he eat? I ask, and the sound of my own voice, steady and practical, shocks me. A flicker of relief crosses Marta's face. It is prepared. In the kitchen. I will show you. She leads me out of the nursery, closing the door softly behind us. We descend the grand staircase into the main hall. The master of the house is gone. The room is empty, but his scent, that wild, musky scent, lingers like a promise of his return. The kitchen is a vast, cavernous room, a strange mix of ancient and modern. A huge walk-in hearth sits on one wall, while gleaming stainless steel appliances line the other. On a heavy wooden island in the center, a bottle warmer hums softly. A single bottle is inside, filled with a substance that is too thick and creamy to be formula. He takes a bottle every 4 hours. He is to be kept warm. He is not to cry. Marta's instructions are precise, militant. The master does not like the sound. A man who cannot stand the sound of his own child crying. What kind of monster is he? I take the bottle. It's warm against my palm. The weight of it feels foreign and yet deeply, painfully familiar, like a memory from a life I never got to live. Is there anything else? I ask, my voice tight. You sleep in the room adjoining his. You do not leave this floor without permission. You do not enter the master's wing. Ever. She fixes me with a hard stare. Break these rules and your resilience will be tested. The threat hangs in the air, cold and sharp. With a final curt nod, she leaves me. I am alone in the enormous kitchen, the humming of the bottle warmer, the only sound. My hand is shaking again. I am a prisoner here. A glorified, high-stakes nanny trapped in a gothic nightmare. My employer is a predator with silver eyes, and my charge is a baby who looks at me like he knows all my secrets. This is madness. But as I walk back up the stairs, the warm bottle clutched in my hand like a talisman, I know I have already made my choice. My fear is a cold, hard knot in my stomach, but the thought of that tiny baby alone in his crib in that silent house, it overrides everything. I will not let him be alone. I cross the threshold back into the nursery. The room feels different now. Less a prison and more a sanctuary. A tiny island of warmth in a sea of cold stone and shadows. Finn is awake, his silver eyes following my every move. There is no crying, no fussing. Just a quiet, unnerving watchfulness. I approach the crib, my heart a frantic drum. My hands feel clumsy, alien. What if I drop him? What if I do it wrong? The panic is a thick, choking thing. I take a deep breath. You can do this, Alara. I reach down and slide my hands beneath the tiny, warm body. He is so light, so fragile. I lift him out of the crib and bring him to my chest. His little head nestles into the crook of my neck, and a scent rises from him. Clean, like fresh milk and new earth, but with an undercurrent of that same wild musk that permeates the house. His father's scent. A tremor runs through me, a jolt of pure, unadulterated terror mixed with something so tender it hurts. I sink into the rocking chair, arranging him in my arms. He fits perfectly. A missing piece I never knew I had, slotted into place. I offer him the bottle. He latches on immediately, his small mouth working with a surprising strength. His silver eyes are closed now, his tiny face a mask of concentration. The soft, rhythmic sound of his swallowing fills the quiet room. As I sit there, rocking slowly in the dim light, the fortress of stone around me seems to recede. The terrifying master of the house, the grim housekeeper, the ghosts of my past. They all fade into the background. There is only this: the weight of a child in my arms, the warmth of his body against mine, the simple, profound act of providing comfort. A tear escapes my eye, hot and silent. It's not a tear of sadness or of fear, it's a tear of release. For the first time in years, the hollow space inside me doesn't feel quite so empty. It is filled with the presence of this strange, silent, silver-eyed child. And in that moment, I know, with a terrifying certainty, that I am already lost. Days bleed into a strange, timeless rhythm. The sun rises and sets outside my small window, but my world is circumscribed by the four walls of the nursery and the adjoining bedroom. My life is measured in 4-hour increments, marked by the warming of a bottle and the soft weight of a child in my arms. I don't see him, the master, Kaylin. I learned his name from an inscription on a silver cup on the nursery mantelpiece. Finian, son of Kaylin. It's a strong name, an old name. It feels like it belongs to the mountain itself. I don't see him, but I feel him. He is a constant, oppressive presence in the house. Sometimes, late at night, I hear the floorboards creak in the hallway outside my door. A slow, heavy tread. A pause. And I know he's there, listening, watching. The air will grow thick, charged with ozone, and the feral scent of him, pine and wild musk, will seep under the door. My breath will catch in my throat, and the fine hairs on my arms will stand on end. I lie perfectly still in my bed, my heart hammering, until the footsteps move on. He is a ghost in his own home, a phantom of immense power whose only evidence is the fear he inspires and the impossible child he has fathered. Finn. Finn is my anchor. He is my purpose in this strange, suspended reality. He is a remarkably easy baby. He rarely cries. When he needs something, he simply watches me with those knowing silver eyes until I figure it out. It's unnerving. It's as if he's communicating directly with my thoughts. I start talking to him. At first, it's just nonsense, little cooing sounds and soft whispers. But the silence of the house is so vast, so profound, that my own voice becomes a comfort. And soon I am telling him everything. "Your papa is a very scary man, you know," I whisper one afternoon as I change his diaper. Finn kicks his little legs, gurgling softly. He has eyes that look right through you, but you have his eyes. Maybe that's why you're not scared of anything. I tell him about Marcus, about the hollow words and the emptier promises. I tell him about the ache of being barren, a word that still feels like a physical blow. He called me broken, I tell Finn, my voice thick. I rock him in my arms, his warmth a small comfort against the cold memory. He said I was incomplete, and the worst part is, I believed him. I'm talking to a baby. But I know, somehow, I just know, that I am being overheard. The house listens, and the master of the house listens through it. I am confessing my deepest wounds to the shadows, hoping they have a heart. One evening, a chill wind rattles the window pane. I've just put Finn down to sleep and realize I left his favorite soft blanket, a square of impossibly soft gray fur, in the kitchen. I'm not supposed to leave the floor, but the thought of him being cold is unbearable. Tiptoeing out into the hall, my heart in my throat, I start down the grand staircase. The great hall is dark, lit only by a sliver of moonlight. I move as silently as I can, my bare feet cold against the stone. I find the blanket on the island where I left it. As I turn to go back, a movement in the shadows by the fireplace makes me freeze. It's him. Kaylin. He's sitting in a massive, high-backed armchair, a glass of some dark liquid in his hand. He was so still, I hadn't even registered his presence. He is part of the darkness. I can't breathe. I feel pinned by his gaze, even though I can barely see his face. "You are not permitted down here," he says. His voice is a low rumble, devoid of emotion, yet it sends a shiver of pure fear down my spine. I forgot Finn's blanket," I stammer, holding it up like a shield. He gets cold. He is silent for a long moment. The quiet stretches, taut and humming with unspoken threat. I expect him to yell, to punish me, to remind me of my place. "The temperature in the nursery is regulated," he says finally. "He will not get cold." The words are a statement of fact, not a reassurance. I stare at him, confused. How could he know? As if from a great distance, I hear a soft click from upstairs. The sound of a thermostat kicking in. My blood runs cold. The house. It responds to him. It's not just stone and wood. It's an extension of his will. The realization is terrifying and yet strangely intimate. He is so attuned to his son's needs that he can warm a room from 2 floors away. "Go back to your room, Alara," he says, his voice softer now, almost weary. He used my name. The sound of it on his tongue is a shock. It feels solid, real. In this house where I am a function, a duty, he has given me back my name. I flee. I run up the stairs, my heart pounding, the soft fur of the blanket clutched in my hand. When I get back to the nursery, the air is noticeably warmer. A soft, comfortable heat that wasn't there before. Finn is sleeping soundly, a tiny smile on his face. I stand there for a long time, watching him breathe. The house is alive, and its master is not just a monster. He is a father. A fiercely, miraculously protective father. My fear begins to slowly, tentatively, make room for something else. Curiosity, wonder, a dangerous, fragile sense of connection. The connection deepens in small, imperceptible ways. One morning, I find a tray outside my door. It holds a pot of steaming coffee, fresh cream, and a small plate of pastries. Food from Marta, I assume. But then I notice a single, perfect white flower in a tiny vase. It's a mountain bloom I'd admired through the window yesterday, growing in a place that looked impossible to reach. Another day, I'm rocking Finn and humming a lullaby my grandfather used to sing to me. A sad, sweet melody from a forgotten time. The next evening, I hear it. The same melody played softly on a piano somewhere deep in the house. The notes are hesitant, as if played from memory, but unmistakable. He is listening. He is always listening. Fear is a tenacious habit, but comfort is a seductive one. The constant, low-level terror I first felt has been replaced by a tense, watchful familiarity. I am no longer just a prisoner. I am part of the strange, silent ecosystem of this place. I still haven't touched him. Kalen. We exist in the same space, but we are separated by an invisible, crackling barrier. Sometimes our paths cross on the stairs or in the hall. He is always a dark, imposing silhouette, and I am a small, scurrying thing, my eyes fixed on the floor. But I am always aware of him, of the heat that seems to radiate from his body, of the way the air shifts when he is near. One afternoon, I'm walking down the upstairs corridor carrying Finn, who is fussy and teething. I'm trying to soothe him, my attention focused entirely on his small, unhappy face. I don't see the corner of the rug that has buckled up. My foot catches. I stumble, lurching forward with a gasp. My arms tighten around Finn, my body twisting instinctively to shield him from the fall. But I don't hit the floor. A hand, impossibly fast, shoots out and grabs my arm. Another wraps around my waist, pulling me back from the brink. I am hauled against a chest that is as hard and unyielding as a rock wall. It's him. I am pressed against the full length of Kalen's body. The shock of it is a physical jolt, an electric current that flashes through every nerve. He is so warm, a furnace of living heat that seeps through my thin sweater, chasing away the constant chill of the house. His scent surrounds me, intoxicating and overwhelming, pine, storm, and wild animal. I can feel the thrum of his heart against my back, a slow, powerful beat. Or is that my own? Finn has stopped fussing. He is nestled between us, perfectly calm, his little hand resting on Kaylin's chest. Be careful, Kaylin murmurs, his voice a low vibration right beside my ear. His breath is warm on my skin. I can't speak. I can't move. My body is frozen, caught in a state of sheer sensory overload. This is the first time we have touched, and it feels like a lightning strike. It's too much, too intimate, too terrifyingly good. He holds me for a second longer than necessary. A beat. Two. Then, as if realizing it himself, he releases me. He steps back, and the cold air of the hall rushes into the space between us. I turn to face him, my face burning. I expect to see anger or annoyance, but his expression is something else entirely. His silver eyes are dark, turbulent, like a stormy sky. There is a raw, naked hunger in them that makes my knees feel weak. And something else. Pain. A deep, profound ache that mirrors the one in my own soul. He looks from me to the sun in my arms and his jaw tightens. He takes another step back, putting more distance between us, his face shuddering, becoming a cold, hard mask once more. Watch your step, he says, his voice clipped and harsh. And then he is gone, turning and disappearing down the corridor into the shadows of his wing. I stand there, trembling, my arm still tingling where he touched me. The encounter couldn't have lasted more than 10 seconds, but it has shattered the fragile peace I had built. The barrier between us is broken. The spark has been struck. And now I am terrified of the fire. The fragile truce is broken. The air in the house is now thick with a new kind of tension. It's no longer just fear and curiosity. It's a humming, vibrant awareness. A pull. Every time I see him now, a brief glimpse in a hallway or a shadow in the great hall, I feel that jolt again. That memory of his warmth, his strength. He avoids me more pointedly than ever. I am once again relegated to my quarters, a ghost caring for a smaller ghost. But the silence is different. It's not empty. It's filled with the things we are not saying, the space we are not crossing. The outside world, the one with Marcus and my debts and my failure, feels like a distant, half-forgotten dream. This mountain, this fortress, this man and his son, this is my reality now. And then the dream turns into a nightmare and comes knocking. It's a Tuesday. I know this because Marta brings me a newspaper with the weekly supplies. I am sitting in the nursery, reading an article about urban renewal, when I hear it. A sound that doesn't belong here. The sound of a car engine. Not the low, rumbling purr of Kaylin's vehicle, but a higher-pitched, arrogant whine. My blood runs cold. I go to my bedroom window, the one that looks out over the front drive. A sleek silver sports car, horribly out of place in the rugged landscape, is parked on the gravel, and a man is getting out of it. Marcus. He looks just the same. Expensive suit, perfectly styled hair, an air of entitled confidence that sets my teeth on edge. What is he doing here? How did he even find this place? Panic, cold and sharp, slices through me. He is a contamination, a piece of my broken past invading the strange, fragile safety of my present. I see Marta intercept him at the door. They speak for a moment. His gestures are impatient, demanding. Marta stands firm, a block of granite in his path. Then he pushes past her. He actually shoves her aside and strides into the house. I have to hide. My first instinct is pure animal fear. Hide myself. Hide Finn. I snatch Finn from his crib. He looks up at me, his silver eyes wide but calm. He doesn't make a sound. I back away from the door, my heart hammering against my ribs. I hear his voice booming from the great hall below. Ilara, I know you're in here. Stop this ridiculous game and come down. His voice, once a source of comfort, now makes my skin crawl. It's the voice of my jailer, my judge, the man who sold me. Ilara, I can't let him find me. I can't let him near Finn. A fierce, primal protectiveness I didn't know I possessed rises up in me, hot and powerful. I back into the corner of the room, clutching Finn to my chest. His small, warm body is a solid point of reality in my spiraling fear. Heavy footsteps are pounding up the stairs. Marcus. He's coming. Playing hard to get? I paid a lot for your quiet little life here, darling. The least you can do is show some gratitude. His voice is closer now. In the hallway. He tries my bedroom door. It's locked. He jiggles the handle, then bangs on it with his fist. Ilara, open this door right now. I'm not leaving without you. Leaving? Does he think he can just take me back? After this? The sheer audacity of it is staggering. We have to talk, he says, his voice changing, adopting that wheedling, persuasive tone he used when he wanted something. I made a mistake. I miss you. This was all a terrible mistake. A mistake he was happy to profit from. Bile rises in my throat. And then, another sound cuts through the air. A low, guttural growl that seems to shake the very foundations of the house. It's not human. It's the sound of a large, furious predator. The banging on my door stops. I hear Marcus make a small, nervous sound. What the hell was that? The growl comes again, louder this time, closer. It's coming from the end of the hall, from the master's wing. Who's there? Marcus calls out, his voice losing its confident edge. There is no answer. Only the sound of something heavy moving with a terrifying, silent speed. I creep toward the door, my ear pressed against the cold wood. I hear a choked gasp from Marcus. My God, what are you? And then all hell breaks loose. A roar of pure, untamed fury rips through the house. It's a sound of nightmares, of primal terror. It's followed by a crash, the sound of a body hitting a wall. Marcus screams, a high, thin shriek of agony and terror. I hear snarling, the rending of fabric, a sickening, wet crunch. Another scream, this one cut short. I am frozen, paralyzed by the sheer violence of it. My mind can't process the sounds. Finn is silent in my arms, his little face buried in my shoulder, but he's trembling. The sounds of the fight move. They tumble down the grand staircase. More crashes, the shattering of wood. Marcus is pleading now, babbling incoherently. Please, no, God, no. And then there is one final terrible choked-off cry, and silence. A ringing, profound silence that is somehow more terrifying than the noise that came before it. My body is shaking uncontrollably. My breath is coming in short, ragged gasps. What just happened? What was that thing? I have to know. I have to see. My hand, trembling, turns the key in the lock. I pull the door open a crack. The hallway is empty. But there are dark gouges in the wall, deep scratches that look like they were made by massive claws. I creep out of the room, still clutching Finn, and move to the top of the stairs. I peer over the banister. The great hall is a wreck. A heavy oak table is overturned. A chair is smashed to splinters. And near the front door, which hangs open to the gray afternoon, lies Marcus. He's curled in a fetal position, moaning. His expensive suit is shredded, and there are dark, bloody gashes on his arms and back. He is alive, but broken, terrified, and standing over him is Kalen. He's breathing heavily, his broad chest rising and falling. His knuckles are bloody. His shirt is torn at the shoulder. There's a wildness in his silver eyes that I've never seen before, a feral, untamed light. He looks down at the whimpering man at his feet with an expression of cold, absolute contempt. He didn't just beat him, he savaged him. He defended his home, his son, me, with a brutal, terrifying ferocity. He is the beast from the woods, the monster from the stories, and he just saved me. He seems to sense my presence. His head snaps up, and his silver eyes lock with mine. The wildness is still there, but it's joined by something else, a flash of panic, of being seen. He takes a step back from Marcus, then another. He sways on his feet. I see it then. A deep, ragged gash on his side, hidden until now. It's bleeding sluggishly, staining his dark shirt an even darker shade of crimson. Marcus must have had a knife. He must have fought back. Get out! Kalen growls at Marcus, his voice hoarse. Marcus doesn't need to be told twice. He scrambles to his feet, clutching his arm, and stumbles out the open door, not even looking back. His sleek silver car tears down the drive, spitting gravel. And then, there is only the two of us. And the wreckage. Kalen leans a hand against the wall to steady himself. A wave of dizziness seems to wash over him. He looks pale beneath his tan. The bleeding from his side is getting worse. Kalen, I whisper, my voice barely audible. He looks at me, and his face is a mask of pain and something else. Shame. You should not have seen that. He tries to take a step toward the stairs, toward the sanctuary of his wing, but his legs buckle. He catches himself, his breath hissing between his teeth. He is more seriously injured than I thought. In that moment, something shifts inside me. The fear, the awe, the confusion. They are all still there, but they are eclipsed by a force that is older and more powerful. The same force that made me pick up Finn on that first night. Compassion. He is hurt. He protected me, and he was hurt. My past training as a veterinary nurse, a lifetime ago, a skill I thought I'd buried, clicks into place. Wound. Pressure. Stop the bleeding. I move before I can think. I hurry down the stairs, still holding Finn, whose small weight is a comfort. Don't. Kalen grits out as I approach. Stay back. He is trying to push me away, to hide his weakness, to hide his monstrosity. I ignore him. I reach his side, and the heat coming off his body is staggering. He's feverish. I look at the wound. It's deep. He needs a doctor. But there are no doctors on this mountain. There is only me. You need pressure on that, I say, my voice surprisingly steady. Sit down. He looks at me, his silver eyes clouded with pain and disbelief. For a moment, I think he's going to refuse. But another wave of faintness makes him stagger, and he sinks down onto the bottom step of the staircase, his head falling into his hands. I need my hands free. I look around frantically. I gently place Finn on a thick fur rug near the cold fireplace, a safe distance away. He watches me, his silver eyes wide and solemn. He understands. Somehow, this child understands everything. I rip a long strip of fabric from the bottom of my own sweater. I kneel in front of Kalen. The proximity is overwhelming. His scent, now mingled with the sharp metallic tang of blood, fills my senses. This is going to hurt, I say softly. I press the makeshift bandage firmly against the gash in his side. He lets out a sharp, ragged gasp of pain, his whole body tensing. His head jerks up, and his eyes meet mine. They are filled with a universe of agony and shock. And then, something impossible happens. As I hold his gaze, his features seem to shift, to blur. The lines of his face sharpen, the bones beneath the skin rearranging themselves. His skin seems to stretch, to ripple. The stubble on his jaw darkens, thickens, becomes fur. I gasp, my hand faltering for a second. His ears are elongating, becoming pointed. His teeth, visible as he grits his jaw against the pane, are lengthening, becoming fangs. Kalen, I whisper, my voice trembling. He groans, a low, guttural sound that is no longer entirely human. He clutches his head, his body racked with spasms. The pain. I can't hold it. He is changing, right in front of my eyes. The monster that savaged Marcus, the beast of the woods. It is him. It is inside him. And the pain and blood loss are letting it out. Fear, cold and absolute, washes over me. This is not just a man. This is something else. Something from a world of myth and nightmare. I should run. I should grab Finn and run for my life. But I don't. I look into his eyes. Those silver tortured eyes. And I don't see a monster. I see him. Kalen. The man who plays forgotten lullabies on the piano. The father who warms his son's room from afar. The protector who just threw himself between me and my past. He is in agony. And he is alone. My fear recedes, replaced by a fierce, defiant resolve. I will not leave him. It's okay, I say, my voice a soothing murmur. I don't know if I'm talking to him or to myself. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I press harder on the wound, my knuckles white. My other hand, acting on an instinct I don't understand, comes up to cup his cheek. His skin is burning hot, rough with the fur that is sprouting there. My touch seems to startle him. His tormented transformation pauses. His silver eyes, now ringed with gold, stare at me with a raw, desperate vulnerability. In that moment, I am no longer the souled girl, the barren woman, the frightened caretaker. I am his anchor, his only anchor in a storm of pain and transformation. And I hold on, my hand on his wound, my other on his face, shielding him with my own small human body as the last of his control crumbles and the beast within him fights to break free. The world narrows to the space between us. The great hall, the wreckage, the blood, it all fades away. There is only the feeling of his fevered skin under my palm, the ragged sound of his breathing, and the impossible, terrifying, miraculous truth unfolding in his eyes. He is a monster, and I will not let him face it alone. The transformation is a terrible, beautiful thing to behold. It's not a clean, instantaneous shift like in the movies. It is agony. Bones crack and reshape, muscles bunch and writhe beneath his skin. A low, constant keen of pain escapes his throat, a sound that tears at my heart. The fur, thick and black as night, erupts along his arms and chest. His face elongates into a noble, lupine muzzle. He is fighting it. I can feel the war raging within him, the man fighting the beast. He is trying to hold on to his human form for my sake, and the effort is shredding him. Let go, I whisper, my hand still cupping his half-wolf face. It's all right. I'm still here. Let go. My voice seems to reach him through the haze of pain. His silver gold eyes lock on mine, and in them I see a flicker of gratitude, of surrender. He slumps against me, the last of his resistance crumbling. The change accelerates. He grows, expands, until he is no longer a man kneeling before me, but a colossal black wolf slumped against the stairs. His head is heavy in my lap. He is breathing in ragged, shallow pants, the deep gash in his side a stark, bloody wound against his dark fur. He is magnificent, terrifyingly, heartbreakingly magnificent. My fear is gone, burned away by a profound, aching pity and a fierce, unreasoning love. Marta appears at the top of the stairs. She takes in the scene, the wolf in my lap, the blood, the quiet baby on the rug, and her grim face softens with a deep, weary sorrow. "I will get the kit," she says, her voice low. She disappears and returns moments later with a wooden box filled with sutures, antiseptic, and bandages. She doesn't seem surprised. She has seen this before. Together, in the ruins of the Great Hall, we work on him. Marta, with her steady, practiced hands, cleans the wound. I hold him, my fingers stroking the thick fur of his neck, murmuring soft, soothing words. He is semi-conscious, a low whimper escaping him when the needle pierces his skin. "He fought the change," Marta says, not looking at me as she ties off a stitch. "For you. It makes the wounds worse." "His mother," I begin, my voice a whisper. "Killed by hunters," Marta says, her voice flat, but her hands tremble for a second. "They did not know what she was. They thought she was just a wolf. He has not trusted a human since. Until you." The pieces click into place. The isolation, the fear of his son crying, the fierce, violent protection. It's all born of a trauma that mirrors my own, a loss that hollowed him out. We finish our work. The wound is closed, bandaged. The great black wolf lies still, his breathing evening out into the deep rhythm of sleep. "He will sleep for a long time," Marta says, gathering her supplies. "He will be himself when he wakes." She looks at me, really looks at me, for the first time. There is a deep respect in her eyes. "You are his Luna," she says, as if stating a simple, irrefutable fact. Luna, the moon, the mate to the alpha. The word settles in my soul, not with a shock, but with a sense of profound, inevitable rightness. All the strange pulls, the electric touches, the feeling of being watched and protected. It wasn't just my imagination. It was this. A bond. A fated connection I was too human, too blind to see. Marta carries the sleeping Finn upstairs to his crib. I stay with Kalen. I can't leave him. I sit on the cold stone floor, his massive wolf head in my lap. I stroke his fur, tracing the line of his powerful jaw. His scent, pure animal now, is no longer frightening. It is the scent of home. Hours pass. The light outside fades from gray to black. The house is silent. I must have drifted off, because I wake with a start to a hand gently shaking my shoulder. I open my eyes. The wolf is gone. In his place is Kalen. He is himself again, human and whole, though pale and weary. He is shirtless, the clean white bandage a stark contrast to his tanned skin. He is kneeling in front of me, his silver eyes clear and filled with an expression of such raw, heartbreaking vulnerability that it steals my breath. "Alara," he says, his voice rough with emotion. "I know," I whisper. "It's okay." "No," he says, shaking his head. He looks down at his hands, then back at me. "It's not okay. You see what I am? A monster. A beast that loses control. I put you in danger. I put my son in danger. This is it. The moment of truth. The confession. And the inevitable rejection. He is trying to push me away. To protect me from himself." "You didn't put me in danger," I say, my voice gaining strength. "You saved me. That man, Marcus, he would have—" I can't finish the sentence. "I almost killed him," Kalen says, his voice a low growl of self-loathing. "But you didn't," I counter, leaning forward. "You let him go. A monster would have finished the job." He looks at me, shocked by my defiance, by my refusal to be afraid. "You don't understand," he insists, his voice laced with pain. "This life, my world, it's violent, it's dangerous. You are soft. You are good. You deserve sunlight and gardens. Not this. Not a cage with a beast for a jailer." The old Alara would have believed him. She would have shrunk back, accepted his judgment, and agreed that she deserved to be sent away. But I am not the old Alara. This house, this child, this man, they have changed me. They have forged something new from my broken pieces. Stop telling me what I deserve, I say, my voice firm. And this isn't a cage. Not anymore. I glance over at the fireplace where Finn's rug lies. I came here with nothing. I was a ghost. I was a barren woman sold to pay a man's debt. You think I want to go back to that world? The world that broke me? I reach out and place my hand on his chest, right over his heart. I can feel its steady, powerful beat. His skin is warm, alive. My whole life, I have felt unseen. I whisper, the confession tearing from the deepest part of me. Unheard, disposable, but here, in this dark, silent house, you see me, you hear me, you fought for me. A single tear tracks its way down his rugged cheek. He closes his eyes, his control fracturing. I have been alone for so long, Alara, he murmurs, his voice breaking. Since Finn's mother, the loneliness has been a physical thing, a cold that went bone deep. And then you came. You came with your own sorrow, a grief so profound it called to me. I heard it on the wind, and when I saw you, the bond, it hit me like a physical blow. My fated mate, my Luna, and you were human, fragile, terrified. I didn't know how to claim you without breaking you. You didn't break me, I say, my own tears falling freely now. You're putting me back together. At that moment, a soft cry comes from upstairs. Finn. He's awake. It's the first time I've ever heard him truly cry. A real, demanding baby's wail. Kaylin and I both look up toward the sound. It's a call. A summons. He opens his eyes, a new resolve hardening his features. He stands, pulling me up with him. His hands frame my face, his thumbs gently wiping away my tears. He is calling for his mother, he says, his voice thick with meaning. My heart stops, then restarts. A wild, joyful thrum. Kaylin, I breathe, my hands clutching his arms. I love you, Alara, he says, the words a raw, powerful confession. I think I have loved you since the first moment I saw you, standing scared and defiant in my hall. I love your strength. I love your compassion. I love the way you care for my son as if he were your own. He feels like my own. I sob, a laugh bubbling up through the tears. He has from the very beginning. He is, Kaylin says fiercely. He is yours now, if you will have him. If you will have me. He lowers his head, and his mouth meets mine. The kiss is not gentle. It is a cataclysm. A collision of two lonely souls who have finally found their other half. It is raw with desperation and relief, with years of pent-up longing and the fierce, brilliant joy of coming home. It is the taste of pine and storms and safety. It is the sealing of a bond, the acceptance of a destiny. It is everything. When we finally break apart, we are both breathless. He rests his forehead against mine, our breathing mingling. The crying from upstairs has stopped, as if Finn knew, as if all he needed was for us to finally find each other. My Luna, Kaylin whispers against my lips, the words a reverent vow. And for the first time in my life, I feel whole. Not because of a man, but because I have found my strength, my purpose, my pack. Here, in the heart of the wilderness, with a beast for a mate and a miracle for a son. 6 months later, spring has come to the mountain. The world is alive with color and sound. The grim fortress of stone no longer feels like a prison, but a sanctuary. My home. Tonight, the pack is gathering. Kaylin's people. They live in the valleys and on the slopes of this mountain, a hidden community of shifters who look to him as their alpha. Tonight, They gather to officially welcome their Luna. Me. I stand before the long mirror in our bedroom, in the master's wing, a space filled with warmth and light. And I barely recognize the woman staring back. She is wearing simple dress the color of a night sky. Her hair is longer, her cheeks have filled out, and her eyes are shining. She looks happy. She looks loved. She looks strong. Kalen comes up behind me, his arms wrapping around my waist. He rests his chin on my shoulder, his silver eyes meeting mine in the mirror. He is dressed in simple black, a striking figure of power and grace. "Are you ready?" he asks, his voice a low rumble against my back. "No," I admit with a laugh. "I'm terrified. What if they don't like me?" "They already love you," he says, his voice firm with conviction. "You healed their alpha. You gave him back his heart. You are the reason our future is secure." He turns me in his arms, his expression serious. "You are the strongest person I have ever known, Ilara. Never doubt that." He kisses me, a soft, reassuring press of his lips that stills the nervous fluttering in my stomach. From the cradle in the corner, Finn makes a happy gurgling sound. He is sitting up now, a sturdy, happy baby with a shock of black hair and his father's luminous eyes. He reaches his chubby arms toward us. He is the center of our universe, our perfect, miraculous son. The ceremony is held in a clearing deep in the forest. A huge bonfire crackles, sending sparks up to the stars. The faces of the pack members, illuminated by the flames, are watchful, curious, but there is no hostility, only a deep, abiding respect. They look at me not as a fragile human, but as the other half of their leader, his chosen. Kalen presents me with a simple, eloquent speech, his voice ringing with pride and love. And when he is done, the pack members, one by one, come forward to bow their heads to me. It is humbling and overwhelming and feels more real than any law or document from the human world. I belong here. A week later, we have to go into the small town at the foot of the mountain for supplies. It's the first time I've left the estate since that day. I am not afraid. I walk beside Kalen, our hands intertwined, Finn strapped to my chest in a carrier. As we leave the general store, I see him. Marcus. He is coming out of the local diner. He looks diminished, smaller. The arrogant confidence is gone, replaced by a haunted, skittish look. He walks with a slight limp, and a pale scar traces a line down his cheek. He sees me. His eyes widen. He sees Kalen beside me, tall and formidable. He sees the baby on my chest. His face is a storm of confusion, envy, and fear. He sees the woman he sold, the woman he called broken and barren, standing here looking radiant and whole, with a powerful, protective man at her side and a child in her arms. He sees everything he threw away, everything he could never have. I don't feel anger. I don't feel pity. I feel nothing. He is a ghost from another life, a stranger. I meet his gaze and I give him a small, serene smile. Then I turn my face up to Kalen, sharing a private look of love with my mate, and we walk away, leaving Marcus standing alone on the sidewalk, a relic of a past that no longer has any power over me. Later that night, I am sitting in the nursery, rocking Finn to sleep. Kalen is leaning in the doorway, watching us, his face soft in the dim light. The house is quiet, peaceful. It is no longer a place of shadows and fear, but of warmth and love. My home. I look down at the beautiful boy in my arms, the child I was never supposed to have. My life was supposed to be a hollow, empty thing, a story of lack. But my greatest perceived weakness, my deepest wound, was the very thing that opened my heart to this impossible life. My compassion, born of my own pain, was the key. It allowed me to see past the monster to the man, to choose love over fear. It led me here. I am Alara, mate to the Alpha, mother to his son. I am the Luna of this mountain. I was not sold, I was found. I was not broken. I was waiting to be made whole. And as I look from my sleeping sun to my waiting mate, I know, with a certainty that settles deep in my bones, that this is not the end of my story. It is the beginning.